Hey guys, this is Eve. Thanks for tuning into my YouTube channel. This channel is dedicated to exploring various topics of the metaphysics, looking at them from a very occult standpoint. I like to tell people that my videos are for a very small fraction of the world's population. They refer to in the Bible as the 144,000. So the 144,000 are people that have Rh negative blood. If you're an Rh negative, then you represent 15% or less of the world's population. Okay, so I'd like to disclose that and put that information out there. Okay, I want to address this recent situation regarding Barack Obama. I'm struggling really right now to kind of get my head above water and to deal with things that kind of affect my ego, right? My straw man in the matrix. And so as a result, I'm really, trying to kind of focus mainly on me, but, consciousness is really calling me to speak about these things. And so I have to do it. Okay. And sometimes, like a lot of times, I can't even function well in my personal life unless I do address the things that consciousness is bringing up. Okay. And so there was a town hall meeting that, involved Barack Obama, speaking to black men, and so the black men felt that Barack Obama was talking down to them very condescendingly. Okay. And so a lot of things I'm going to say in this video are, things I've said before, but I'm going to try to relate it to this particular current, incident or what have you. Okay. I just want to disclose that Barack Obama, does not like human beings because he is not human. Okay. I repeat, Barack Obama does not like humans because he is not human. I repeat, Barack Obama does not like human beings because he is not human, right? So the black man, right? The black man represents a human. When I talk about race in the occult, right, the word human comes from hue, right? You have a hue. So, for example, black people have the widest spectrum of hues. I know you've heard me say this shit before, but this is very important and integral to what I'm talking about. So the thing is that when you get to black people, the black race, which is the indigenous race, you can get a hue that's very super duper dark to very super duper light. Okay. So, like for example, people consider me a super duper light black person, whereas like my father is super duper dark, super duper like, very pigmented. Like if you look at my sister, like she's, she's pecan brown. My mom is around the same hue that I am, a little bit lighter. Okay. So the thing is that black people have a wide spectrum of hues. But once you get to the Asian race and you get to the white race, you'll see the hue kind of fall relatively in line. That's a being that has been reincarnated so many times that they don't really have their melanin, which is connected to the soul. That's why black people call soul sisters and soul brothers, right? Soul represents the music of black people, right? Soul represents the food, like soul food, okay? So the thing is that melanin is connected to soul. But once you are reincarnated so many times, then you lose your soul or your melanin, okay? So the thing about beings like Barack Obama is that they're so unique that they have been reincarnated so many times that they could not get past a soul that did not have any melanin. We call these Aryans. So this kind of correlates symbolically back to the book of Revelation, right? Where there is like, the book of Revelation represents a black horse, a red horse, a white horse, and then a pale horse. So black, red, and white represents the black, Asian, and Caucasian. These are the three root races, right? And so, basically the pale horse is the horse that is, Aryan or what have you. So when you look at certain videos, like they put a lot of occult information in pop culture. Like if you look at that video, Dark Horse, right, by Katy Perry, you will see that the being that she is portraying in that video has melanin, but when she ascends, she does not have a soul. She has blonde hair and blue eyes, which is indicated with her blonde hair and the blue eye of Ra on her hair, that's painted on her hair at the very beginning of the video. But at the end of the video, she ascends Aryan. So these types of souls like Barack Obama, they do not give a flying fuck about humans. I repeat, these types of souls like Barack Obama, they don't give a flying fuck about humans. I repeat. Shout out to my friend Dr. Umar. These types of souls like Barack Obama do not give a flying fuck about humans. Let me not repeat. I'm just going to say it 3 times, right? They don't give a fuck about you. And this is not a conscious thing. It's a subconscious thing. You see what I'm saying? It's not like it's something where, Barack Obama's like, oh, even himself accepts the fact that he hates black people because he's black in this incarnation. You see what I'm saying? He has 2 beautiful black daughters. He has a black wife. He himself is black. He actually hangs around elitists that are also black. So when he looks at his ego, it looks nothing like the subconscious aspect, which has really deteriorated into what you would call, I guess what we would call from this in this space-time reality, filth. Okay. And it's very sad. It's very sad. One thing I want to disclose out here, I love Barack Obama. There's nothing that's going to change that. He is what you would call a quote-unquote cosmic Naga. But at the same time, I have to disclose the truth. And I feel like when you have the truth, then you really have a way of judging people, the way that he judged people, the black men in that particular little town hall or little forum, whatever the case is that he attended or whatnot. Barack Obama is an AB negative. That's 0.3% of the world's population. That means that he has what you would call quote unquote alien blood. He is an alien. Okay, so that means that his blood is not synonymous to any black, Asian, or white person. A black, red, or white horse. Okay, the horses represent the subconscious. You can kind of connect this back to psychology. Oftentimes, like when you do research in psychology, the subconscious is connected to horses. So within his psyche, right, he is a pale horse. He does not like humans. If you have a hue, especially people with the most pigmented hue, he hates you the most. And this goes back to Jesus, because Jesus is the soul, it's the solar plexus, right? People don't really realize, but in the occult, Jesus represents the Son of God. Okay, it's the soul. So when it comes to Barack Obama, black people, that particular demographic is more inclined to do with what they feel as opposed to the psychological aspect of, themselves in the matrix. As you get your soul taken away more and more, you fall in line with the various facets of the matrix. That's why, the lighter hues don't get incarcerated as much as the darker hue races, okay? Because the darker hue races are more connected to the soul, the solar plexus, the will and desire of God and what you want to do, okay? So there's an agenda to get rid of this particular race, and Barack Obama and Kamala Harris and people like that, they're just used by the elite. Oftentimes, like when people are a part of these different government organizations like the FBI, the CIA, and so forth, they don't even know that they're a part of the agenda. That's what makes them so effective. I repeat, they do not know that they're a part of the agenda. That's what makes them so effective. I repeat, they don't even know. They're not even conscious of the fact that they're a part of the agenda, which makes this very, effective. It makes them more effective. So what am I really saying here? Like, say, for example, the whole thing about Kamala Harris, legalizing marijuana, right? So the thing is that when you look at all demographics, the demographic that really depends upon marijuana the most are black men. Now, when you look at the demographic of black men, they fall below any other demographic, including the black woman when it comes to finances, okay? So I remember when my sister came to visit me in Vegas, she she suffers from different ailments, and so she suffers from a frozen shoulder. And so, it was very debilitating, and she would oftentimes call me and talk about how much pain she was in. So when she came to Vegas, knowing that, weed is legal in Vegas, I was very excited to take her to a dispensary. I took her to Planet 13, which is like it's like the superstore what is it, a weed. Okay. I was like, oh, this would be a great opportunity to take her and to see if we can find some relief for her. And so they have, different, different strains or strands, whatever you want to call it. They have different, things like vapors, like vape pens or what have you. And so I was like, a vape would be really good. You know what I mean? It's very inconspicuous and so forth. And so I was like, okay, it's cool. I'll give her, a vape or whatnot. But when we were trying to find a strand that would, be tailored to her needs or whatnot, to kind of alleviate that pain that she was going through, the guy that I was speaking to, he, I told him about a strain that I knew about, and so he was like, oh, he takes that particular strain and he would not advocate that for my sister. And in fact, he said that that particular strand is very addictive, and he said that his habit, to support his habit for that strand, I can't remember the name of it, I think it starts with an R, it's her Resna or Reza or something like that. So he said that that particular strand is so addictive that he can't, well, I can't say, he didn't say he can't support his habit per se, but he said that it's $500, almost $500 a month extra added onto his other expenses to keep up that habit. So whenever you actually relax the limitations on, like things like weed, especially for the black man, which is the demographic that actually utilizes that drug, more than any other demographic, so to speak, you know what I mean? And that the black man is financially, unstable compared to other demographics and whatnot because he's so oppressed in the matrix. It's not because of the fact that it's his own doing, it's because of the fact that they're trying to get rid of the black male. A $500 expense added on to the other expenses that he already has, knowing that he's already behind the 8 ball, is going to destroy him in the matrix, because money is important as it pertains to longevity in the matrix. Do you see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that Kamala Harris, I'm not saying that Kamala Harris is doing this consciously to destroy the black man, but subconsciously she is. And so the people that really run this world and run the elite, and the people that run our society, whatever the case is, they're behind the scenes. Kamala Harris and people like Barack Obama and people like that, they're just figureheads. So you can go ahead and blame them instead of the pathetic, desperate needies, or whatever the case is, I call them. Hypocrites, or people who don't have dicks to show themselves. Barack Obama, Kamala Harris are the ones that take the fall. You see what I'm saying? So for their notoriety and stuff like that, they have to pay the price because the soul is sold. But the people who the soul is sold to, they get off scot-free. Okay? Shout out to King James of Scotland. Okay? So what am I really saying here? What I'm saying here is that, with Barack Obama, when I saw him at the town hall, and looking at his energies and stuff like that, and how he was portrayed there in front of those men, it was very frightening for me to see, because normally Barack Obama does not show his emotions. To me, it was very much a Trump moment. Okay? Let me tell you why it was a Trump moment. Because Donald Trump represents a being that has more soul than Barack Obama and Kamala Harris. All Irish negatives are they have issues, whatever the case is. But when you look at him compared to Barack Obama and Kamala Harris, he's more in touch with his emotions. Do you see what I'm saying? So the emotional body is always targeted here. They don't want you to get in touch with your emotions or how you feel. You see what I'm saying? And so how you feel is very important to your stability within the matrixes. So they want to purposely make these people unstable to the point where they can get rid of them on the planet. Okay? So people really targeted Barack Obama and said, oh, Barack Obama is, what is it? They didn't say he's embracing his emotions, so we're going to pounce on him. But they pretty much was like, oh, you know what? We disagree with how he acted, and he was so condescending and this and the other, but he was focusing on his heart. Trump oftentimes focuses on his heart and what he wants to say and what he wants to do. And so he gets a backlash for that. So I really was kind of afraid, and like a lot of people probably were, and that's why they jumped on Barack Obama, because Barack Obama has a DNA that actually carries the information concerning the origin of human beings and present day human beings. His blood is so old, his soul is so old, that it dates back to ancient Egypt. It dates back to ancient the so-called mythological civilizations of Atlantis. It dates back to ancient Lemuria. Okay, it's a very old soul. And so, the thing is that people really don't understand, but the DNA of human beings, right? Oftentimes scientists refer to a certain patch of the DNA as junk DNA. It's not junk. The DNA of human beings have been deactivated because the thing is that the people that created human beings felt that we could not handle the spiritual gifts that we had. And so as a result, those particular spiritual gifts, sorry guys, I haven't eaten today, but the spiritual gifts that we were given, right, they had to be deactivated because they actually will activate certain things such as telekinesis and telepathy. Okay, so telepathy is being able to communicate with people without speaking, right, just by the pure intention of your mind. Whereas what is a telekinesis? People are able to move objects and things like that with the purpose of their mind, the intention of the mind. Okay, so when you have beings that are this powerful, you have to actually keep them, I guess what you would say, you have to keep them docile. This comes in, like, for example, Barack Obama. Michelle Obama is really, and she may not really know this or what have you, but she's a plant. She's a plant because she got that good, she got that good pussy. You see what I'm saying? And so when you got good pussy, it brings his consciousness more down into the root chakra. You see what I'm saying? But if his consciousness were to ascend up to the psyche, right, the DNA would be activated. And when the DNA is activated, it is game over. The thing is that these types of beings are extremely frightening. Extremely. Barack Obama being the first black president is like a slap in the face. His DNA is so, like, I guess what you say, old and ancient, that he has the potential to be the president, the dictator, actually, of the entire world. The entire world. Fuck the U.S. Fuck the U.S. Listen, let me tell you something. This being is so powerful that if his DNA were activated, then there are no governments that can contain it. He will reach crown. If he reaches crown, let me tell you something, it's game over for you. So, as far as those black men at the forum, whatever the case is, I mean, looking at it from a very, I guess that you would say, third eye point of view, if he says to vote for Kamala Harris, I say vote for her. And let me tell you why. And this is going to sound very heartless or what have you. But black men only represent 7% or less of the world's population. Okay? They, I think one statistic I saw was like 5.8 or 9 or something like that. Another statistic was like 6.9 or something. So it's less than 7% according to the census, and I might be wrong with that, but you can double check my facts and statistics. But it's very small, in what you would call, from a more objective standpoint, very insignificant. So that whole forum with the people who handle Kamala Harris and Barack Obama, they're just trying to set an agenda to say, you know what, go ahead and get rid of the black male. They didn't vote for you anyway. You see what I'm saying? They didn't vote for you anyway, so you might as well get rid of them. They didn't support you. But really, when you look at it, you peel back the layers and you look at it from a purely root aspect of it, the root aspect. The black male, right, is the father of civilization. All races come from the black woman and the black male. Like when you look at Ape Shit, right? One thing about that video Ape Shit with Beyonce and what is it, Jay-Z, it's very occult, right? So they're representing Israel, Isis, Ra, and El. You see that Beyonce represents Isis, her husband represents Ra, and so El, which is the ancient Hebrew name for Saturn, which is Satan, right? They're separated by Satan. It represents Israel. Okay. So, when you look at, I guess what you would say ape shit or whatever, I kind of lost my train of thought a little bit because information is really kind of flowing very quickly, and I really got to get this out so I can, get to what I need to do for today. But yeah, it's basically representing a people that's separated by El. You said by Satan. And so Barack Obama and people like that, and Kamala Harris, they are disconnected from what you would call the subconscious aspect of themselves, which is Satan. Because they've been reincarnated so many times, so they are virgin spirits. They have not united with the, I guess what you would say, the devil. You see what I'm saying? And so they keep getting restricted, and the heart keeps getting restricted. And so, when it comes to these Rh negatives, they're very dangerous if their DNA is activated, and they do get connected to the subconscious, which is, Leonardo da Vinci and ape shit. The thing is that Leonardo da Vinci, he actually painted Christ, right? Using his gay lover, Elias. Okay? Going back to the Olympics and how they, had all the, drag queens and stuff like that. Because the devil is supposed to descend upon the planet. You see what I'm saying? The subconscious. And they've been really, gearing up for this with certain pop culture movies like The Purge and stuff like that. The thing is that human beings are living out of tune with nature. You see what I'm saying? But beings like Barack Obama and Kamala Harris, if they were to actually be in tune with nature, fully in tune with nature, and what they want to do and what they desire to do, then you're going to be dead because they hate human beings. This is transhumanism. Do you see what I'm saying? So the black man, like I said, goes back to the one that seeds the planet of humans. And so once you get rid of the black man, then the black woman does not have anyone to copulate with, unless it's a lighter hue. So once you keep using the black woman to keep copulating with lighter hues, eventually the hue will actually get lighter and lighter until there is no soul. And so humanity will be destroyed. So when other demographics are tooting their nose up at black people and the black man and stuff like that, without the black man, you're going to be dead. You're going to go extinct. Now, I feel like there is a subconscious aspect that wants to be that way and wants to accomplish that, but consciously you don't. And one thing about me, I fight for consciousness, and I fight for the will and the desire, what you want to do. Nobody, if I go around and ask people, do you want human beings to be extinct? People aren't going to say, yeah, that's wonderful. I would love to be extinct. And so as a result, people that like me who are seated on the planet, we're about showing you both sides of the coin, both sides of the spectrum. You see what I'm saying? Barack Obama is so disconnected from himself. And to be more connected to himself, I feel like it's important, but I feel like it must be done in a way that doesn't shift, because there's a difference between balancing consciousness and shifting consciousness. So if his consciousness shifts into his subconscious, it will cause a cataclysm on the planet. So when that happens or whatever, these beings can torture you tremendously, destroy you, kill you, and really do it without any remorse. Like the Barack Obama that we see, he has remorse, right? He has a conscience. But when he reaches crown, when he reaches the subconscious, there is no conscience. There's no conscience. These beings are absent of empathy and feeling and emotion and judgment. They have no judgments against themselves for doing the things that they can carry out, the atrocities that they can carry out against humanity. You can think of them as like Hitler. Hitler had no conscience. He was like, okay, I'm all about gassing these people and doing this, that, and the other, or whatnot. He really didn't care. You see what I'm saying? And really, one of the reasons why he didn't care is because he was connected to the occult. You see what I'm saying? So, people really just don't understand figures like Barack Obama, Adolf Hitler, these Nazis, these pale horses, or whatnot. Like, one of my other videos, I talked about how Hitler was an evil fucker, because of the fact that in previous lives he was so feminine. So he loved everyone, and he loved all races, and he just kept getting shitted on. you know, he kept giving like a lots of himself over and over and over again and not getting anything in return. So the soul had to be born a fucking evil fucker in order to establish what you will call equilibrium within the soul. So in the occult, we erase judgments. You see what I'm saying? To the world, a mundane human looking at a figure like Adolf Hitler is like, oh, he's evil, he deserved to die, whatever the case is. Look what he did. When you look at the subconscious and seeing the soul itself, the soul was a saint in previous lifetimes, and it was too saintly. So it had to switch from the feminine to the masculine. In this realm, they teach us to destroy, right, the masculine aspect of ourselves. If you look at any programming, right, in the media, right, the matrix is composed of different, I guess you would say facets of the matrix, right, such as media, entertainment, education, all this stuff, yada, yada, yada. When you look at programming, how many times did the bad guy win? So he kept getting reincarnated to the point where his consciousness got indoctrinated to be good, be good, be good, be good, be good. So Hitler had to be born as a horrible, evil, conniving, disgusting dictator in order to receive the balance of the soul. Do you see what I'm saying? I like to use my sister as an example. Like in previous lives, like my sister had the best of everything. Like she had the best of cars, the best of houses. You know, my sister, she's a boss lady. Like she's the CEO. You know, she was just somebody that was really a boss fucking bitch. And so she was so intelligent that she decided to incarnate through a mother that would make her feel stupid. And my mom would always call her like Madam Goofball and how stupid she was and this, that, and the other. But she came through a mother to actually knock her down to size, because if she kept reincarnating as a woman that was a genius, then the soul would have fractured. So what am I telling you? The mundane is different than when you get up in higher, what you will call quote unquote density levels, and you have access to your subconscious, which is connected to previous incarnations, which is connected to the energies involving your soul. Barack Obama at that town hall had a Trump moment, and for us to jump on him to say, how dare you talk down, he was going with his soul. He was going with his love. He was going with his desire. You see what I'm saying? Like, for example, with my ex-husband or whatnot, I was very happy for my ex-husband to get remarried or what have you, and to move on with his life after our marriage. You know, but superficially speaking, looking at his new wife, I mean, there's no comparison from a superficial standpoint. I'm like, okay, I'm more beautiful, I'm more smart than his new wife. You know, I say to myself, like, you know, what is it that he sees in her? But there is a world beside the world that we see superficially with our two eyes. Oftentimes when a man cheats with a woman that doesn't look as good or doesn't carry the so-called quote-unquote attributes of his wife, you say to myself, why would he cheat with her? But it's an energetic thing. You see what I'm saying? It's not superficial. So what am I trying to tell you here is that we live in a world of an unseen. It's an unseen world. Okay, we have to get beyond what we can see with our two eyes. And so the matrix is designed to create the pentagram, which is what you can see, taste, touch, smell, and hear, the five senses, so you don't get past what you can see with your two eyes. When there's a sixth sense, which is the six-pointed star, the Star of David, this is what they're trying to get rid of, destroying the Jews. You will see the world beyond the superficial world. Okay. So Barack Obama is a very dangerous being. I love Barack Obama. At the same time, he's a very terrifying being. And for beings like this to actually have activation of their DNA, all you can do is bow to them. The media, whatever, is jumping on him because of the fact that they don't want him to find connection to who he truly is. Because if he does, then you're dead. Barack Obama hates himself. He hates his beautiful daughters. He hates his wife. He hates all humans. Mostly black people, but guess what? He hates Asians and he hates white people. His blood is no comparison. When you look at his blood compared to black, Asian, and white people, there's no comparison, honey. He is an alien. This is why the birth certificate came into question. They don't want you to know the energies of Barack Obama's birth chart, because you could use that against him and destroy him because he's so disconnected from the subconscious. Do you see what I'm saying? Like on the birth certificate, the registrar, it said the registrar was ukulele. Ukulele is an instrument. It's not the name of the person that actually registered his birth certificate. In the Bible, it said that the firstborns, right, males, they were destroyed and hunted and killed. They found Jesus according to his star. This references astrology, the wise men, to know the stars as wise. The natal chart is very important to destroying someone, just like my ex-husband. My ex-husband really is trying to destroy me emotionally because of the fact that I have that Rahu in the 5th house, which is the house of children, to be connected to children and that type of thing, and to be in touch with children and creation and that type of thing. So people who have the natal chart, they can destroy you, especially if the being that's actually incarnated has no knowledge of that when the destruction is taking place, especially before the age of 7. This is serious stuff. It's very disgusting. It's very pathetic. And it's very degenerate that people use people to get what they want. But this is the type of world that we live in. People use people to get what they want, and the RH negatives are oftentimes sacrifices because of the fact that we're being used as pawns for people to use us for their agendas. Kamala Harris and Barack Obama, people like that, are RH negatives that are just puppets. They're sacrifices. You see what I'm saying? Unbeknownst of who they really are. If Barack Obama knew who he really was, your blood will fucking run. It really will. These beings are cutthroat and they have no remorse for humans. So really, black people, I feel like black people are closest to the original man. They're closest to the spiritual aspect of themselves. Black people just have a sense of knowing compared to other races. And I'm not saying that to be racist or whatever the case is, that black people better know. What I'm saying is everybody's been black at one point. This is how the reincarnation system works. But black people are connected more to a sense of knowing rather than seeing through the superficial eyes of seeing, taste, touch, smell, and hear to figure out what's going on. It's like a baby. Like, somebody could be playing with a baby, right? Or there could be tons of people in the room and the baby's happy. Then one person walks into that room and that baby starts to cry. Why? But that baby didn't have to be told anything about that person, know anything about that person. The baby has a psychic intelligence to know that there's something wrong. So beings like babies and even dogs, people that exist in slower brainwave frequencies, they can know. They just have a sense of knowing that something's not right and something's wrong with someone. When Barack Obama walks in the room, like that town hall, what have you, they know something's wrong with Barack Obama. They're like underlyingly speak. He looks black. He has a black wife. He has black children, right? But there's something a little off about this. What is it about him? And so the subconscious, which is the mark of the beast, right, that governs our consciousness here, it rules everything and it recognizes. And sometimes, like, you may not be able to put your finger on something, but you know that something is wrong because it's a subconscious, I guess you would say, revelation concerning someone. So, Barack Obama does not like humans. He does not like humans. He hates humans. His soul is too old. And I feel that, him and Kamala not being aware of the agenda, if you will, to, I guess what you would say, to create a sort of transhumanism, to destroy human beings, to destroy the union between the black woman and the black man, is very disheartening. To see, I could see if they were consciously aware of this plan, but they are not aware of it. You see what I'm saying? They're not aware of the part that they play. And I feel like you have to be aware of the part that you play in order to escape karma. You see what I'm saying? Karma. If you make a conscious choice to do what you're doing, then you can escape karma. But if you're unconscious about your part to play in destroying the human race and the union between the black male and the black female, then guess what? You are due for a karmic fuck up. And you're going to be fucked the fuck up. Yeah, you are. So it takes certain beings to see for these types of beings. You know what I mean? Kamala Harris is a being that I feel that Kamala Harris is so puppeted by the elite, and it's different because with Barack Obama, although her and Barack Obama are arch negatives, I feel like because she's a female, she's less anchored to the soul. Like, it doesn't fuck other incarnations. In this incarnation, Kamala Harris's mother is Indian. Okay, her mother is Indian. The mother is the root of the child, honey. She was growing in her mother's womb. Do you understand? She and her mother, have a different connection compared to other people, right? They have a connection. So with this connection that she has to her mother, to deny her Hindu, to Hindu culture, to deny her mother, is to truly deny the foundation of herself, the mother. So when black people are like, oh, well, you shouldn't, side with being Indian, whatever the case is, fuck you. In this incarnation, as it pertains to the soul, this is who she is. And I'm sure that, what's his name? Joe Biden is her dad. She looks just like Joe Biden. Just like him. Look at Joe Biden and look at her dad. Who does she look mostly like? I know it's a conspiracy, whatever the case is, but hey, I want to see the DNA results. I want to see Joe Biden, and I want to see her father give test results to confirm that that is her actual dad. So Kamala Harris, or what have you, despite the fact that if her dad is a black man or a white man, when it comes to Indians don't want to procreate with anyone except for an Indian. She looks like some type of, I don't care, like Indians could be like, oh, we're happy that Kamala Harris, we have someone that's Indian in the White House, please. Indians do not consider Kamala Harris to be a part of them. And I hate to say that in a stereotypical way, but I have insight to really demonstrate what I'm saying. You never see Indians mix with anybody. Never. Ever. You see what I'm saying? Very seldom does that happen. I remember I had a girlfriend one time, beautiful Indian woman. And I met her when I was working with her, and she and I really connected because she and I never really had a strong connection to our mothers, and we always had, issues with our family. We had root issues. You see what I'm saying? And she was in an arranged marriage. It was an Indian man, and it didn't work out. And so when she moved from the UK to America, she found a black man, and she got married to this black man. Had beautiful children. Smart, beautiful, listen, and this woman, stunning, gorgeous, like, stop you in your tracks. Like, I'm not gay or anything, but I'm just like, damn, that's a beautiful woman. You see what I'm saying? And so her family disowned her and inherited her. And when she spoke to me, she said, you know what? She said, it's not that my husband is black, because, in America, it's like, oh, black people are bad, whatever the case is, don't procreate with a black man. No, she said they detested my marriage and disinherited me because he was not Indian. So this kind of goes back to eugenics. Like when you look at the swastika, right, which was perverted by the Nazis or whatever the case is. The swastika goes back to Hinduism. It goes back to India. And so they believe in a system of eugenics to actually keep wealth and keep certain, I guess what you would say, traits and things like that within their community. You see what I'm saying? So they looked down upon her, and they said to her, like, you are not one of us, and we are disinheriting you, and we don't recognize you because of the fact that you went outside of your race. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to people like Kamala Harris doesn't have a strong root because her father is not Indian, regardless if he's white or black. You see what I'm saying? So you could say souls like this, they don't really have a home. They're not accepted by Indians. They're really not accepted by black people, as you can see. And they're not even accepted by whites, but her father accepts her more than the Indian and the black people. So who do you think she's going to side with? Do you think she's going to side with Joe Biden? When black people are like, oh, you know what? You're not black, honey. You know, constantly beating her over the head about this whole race thing. Indians don't really claim her. And they're going to be silent about it, because one thing about that community, they don't believe in jumping up and down. You're not going to see a lot of times Indians on YouTube or, you know, picketing and stuff like that and this, that, and the other. You know, when you look at the LGBT and race and feminism and stuff like that, oftentimes, I'm not saying that Indians don't do that, but that's not a demographic that you're going to see jumping up and down. They have a certain silent, I guess you would call, strength. So Kamala Harris doesn't really have an anchor. The only anchor she has is to that white male. And he's the one that comes to her to say, you know what? I love you. I accept you. So she's going to side with him. You see what I'm saying? Because everybody wants to be accepted. It's very sad. But this is the truth. And you know what? Truth fucking hurts. Doesn't it? Truth hurts. And I'm the fucking truth. And you know what? You got to get rid of that shit. Okay? So, with that being said, you know, I just wanted to kind of shed light on that. Shed light on the whole Barack Obama thing. And, you know, RH negatives and how they are sleepers. They have carry sleeper programming. They are not consciously aware of the agendas that they're actually carrying out by the elite who we don't see. And so they get to actually get the slack for what other people have created. You know, Barack Obama hates humans. Like I said before, he is not human. His blood is not connected to most black, Asian, or white people. And so because of that, if you have the most hue, such as black people, especially the black man, which represents a very small fraction of the world's population, less than 7% according to the World Census, then he subconsciously is against you. And in other words, he's subconsciously against himself because he is a black man. Okay? And so, you know, as far as Kamala Harris and people like them, you know, certain agendas concerning like marijuana and stuff like that, and legalizing it, it's just to actually destroy the black man. If you're financially already against the 8 ball and you legalize marijuana and it's more readily available, guess what? You're going to get fucked the fuck up even worse. And so once you get rid of the black male, you get rid of the human race. And believe me, Barack Obama, Kamala Harris are all about getting rid of humans. They're going to filter out your genes until there are no more black people, no more Asian people, and no more white people. And you will be destroyed. So you can look at other people and point fingers or whatever the case is, but let me tell you something. There are 4 pointing back at you. Okay? So I just wanted to kind of get this out or whatever the case is. Now I can, you know, really kind of get on my grind and function, and try to get more grounded. I'm going to go get something to eat. And I'm going to just kind of decompress myself after this channeling or whatnot. Because believe me, guys, with the shit that I'm going through, it takes a lot out of me to go into the deep ether to deliver this type of information. Okay? So I will see you in my next video.